Good day, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Reading with Ayo. My name is Ayo Lawrence. Today, I have someone with me that, there's few people that I'm impressed by, right? But there's only a handful of people that have wowed me. This lady has wowed me. It's like I saw some of her work on LinkedIn, and I started following some of the things she does, and she's wowed me. I want it for me. Do you want to just introduce yourself?
Thanks, Ayo. You're far too kind. Thank you. Thank you for all that you do. I actually love to watch the series, and I'm excited to be here, on the podcast. And so, Fumi, who's Fumi? My name is Fumi Asa. I'm an engineering and strategy professional in the energy industry. That's my day job. Okay. But as a personal brand, I like to call myself a transformational insights translator. And then you wonder why such a mouthful? And that's because as I started, launching out and just finding my voice, finding my stage, I thought to myself, what is it that you do? What you bring to the table? What's different from what's out there? And then I kind of just, had certain epiphany, really, just thinking about, who am I and what do I bring? What do I offer? What's the combination? And I find that so many times there are people who do great at work and sometimes have issues in other aspects of life because the principles that they use so greatly at work, somehow they are unable to translate it to their life. Or there are people who do great at life and they can't translate that back to their work. And so for me, I thought that, transformational insights is around, a deep studying understanding about a complex issue, and then transforms you, kind of changes you, makes a big impact, right, in the things that you're doing. But where then do I come in? My goal is to translate those insights to people in a way that they can connect with it and apply it to themselves. So that's why I call myself a transformational insights translator.
I love
Like
it.
thanks, Ayo. I like to say that, I my expressions of creativity is in writing and speaking. So I write, I speak where I can find the opportunity, and I call myself a system thinker. So that is for me in summary.
Oh, I can see your system thinking, right? And you're a good writer. I read some of your blog, and if you've not, go follow for me and go check our blog out. But I want to talk about your blog. What made you start it? Why did you start it? And before you say anything, the last blog that you wrote, Practical System Thinking Principles, Part One, that wowed me. So, but yeah, let you talk about why you started
Thank
the
you.
blog and what was your intent with it.
Yeah, so thanks, Ayo. And I always enjoy it when somebody reads something that I've written or that I've said, and they're like, oh, wow, Fumi, this is great, because that really is the reason I started it. I'd come to a point where, in my past life, I like to say my past life, I was intentionally hiding. I was maintaining my corner of the world, my space in the world. I'll do my work and just stay in my corner, avoid major conversations. But then I realized that I was being unintentionally selfish, and that the things that I knew, the experiences that I'd gone through, all the things that I have done to this point, there's a reason I have the combination of the skills and experiences that I have gone through, both personally and professionally. And I thought that I needed to share that with the world to help other people, become the best version of themselves. And so that's why, for me, the blog was one of the, my mediums of creativity to just express my thoughts, share insights from my learnings and the things that I've experienced to help other people, and then put it in writing. And one of the distinguishing factors for me was to make sure that it was practical. As in, you could take core business principles and make it practical so that as you read it, you can connect with it and it makes sense to you. Because so many things sometimes are lost in the jargons, things that could change your life. You can't connect it because you don't understand the terms that are being used. And so for me, it's to make sure that you connect with the core principles of these transformational insights to make your life better. And that's why
All
I started
right.
that.
Man, I love it. One of the things I love about the plug is, like you said, you're very intentional about what you write and the way you write it, and you connect about it, right? And I love the word intentionality, and I've seen you use it like 3 or 4 times. That is actually my motto for this year: is be intentional. It's like that's something I've wanted to start, that I'm doing this year, doing everything I do with intention. So, you said something about system thinking. I just finished the book Thinking a System by Donell Meadows, Meadows. And when I read that book and I started I started thinking about it, right? Everything around us is systems, right? Even our body, we have circulatory business, the systems, respiratory systems. The family is a system. If you think about the way your family operates, it's a system. Our weather is a system. The nature is a system. And, why can't we be system thinkers? And I just want to ask you, you know, talk a little bit about system thinking and why you think it's something we should incorporate in every area of our lives, our jobs, and everything we do, because I think it's important.
So you're an evangelist for system thinking already. You already said some of the things I was going to say. Yeah. So system thinking is very important, and for some reason, maybe due to some of the abstract nature of it, sometimes people are rather comfortable with just dealing with like your cause and effect, linear thinking, and all of that. But like you said, we are surrounded by systems. Anytime one or two things or more interact for a purpose, they come together and they interact, they touch one another and create a new behavior as a result of that interaction. A system exists. So in a human body, for example, if my digestive organs and my nervous system and everything work together for me to show up today and be able to have a conversation with you, intellectually, they are achieving a purpose. And there's a reason why they're working together to be unique. We see that in careers, in relationships, family life, in complex work conversations, complex machines, businesses. And so when we come to a recognition that there is this complexities and interactions around us, and increasingly so, it's becoming increasingly complex, then there's got to be some way of addressing these issues, regardless of the sphere of influence. And we found that with system thinking, there's similarities. When you're able to think about interactions, stakeholder context, things like, the incentive structure, the second and third order effects of your decisions, that makes you more robust and intentional in the way you go about things. And so believe me, if there's anything at all, and that is why I'm such an evangelist of system thinking, I've always been an analytical thinker. That's my strength. But when I finally found the word system thinking, in my recent MIT class, and I found system engineering, and then I started reading up, I found system thinking, and I'm like, wow, everybody needs to know this, because if we think about it, some of the things that we think just random or they happened and weren't prepared for it, if we could only think in terms of systems and interactions, then we'll be, of course, some things will still happen regardless, but we'll be better prepared for those kind of things. And that's why I think system thinking is important, and as many people as possible should be system thinkers.
No, actually, seriously, when I was reading that book, I heard, there's a concept that they use, this inflow, outflow, and stock. I was like, man, and you got to understand your inflow and outflow and your stock, what you have, available to you. And that actually just I started looking at things differently, like even the way I interact with my kids. Like if I don't put enough things in them that make them outflow their success, they're not going to do that. So you got to be able to see inflow, put some stuff in them, and every area as you're interacting with people. I think people should understand that, and I really, really recommend that book, Thinking in Systems. He actually
I have my copy somewhere here.